I grew up on a council estate, the Lansdowne estate, and it was just about, you know, going out having fun really. You know, it wasn't the riches of estates around Sheffield, so it's about, you know, finding entertainment for yourself, and most of that entertainment was football. Yeah, you had people from, you know, all kind of, you know, different backgrounds and everything, and I think that's what brought the estate together, right. Where, you know, people would just get along, no matter if it was black, white or whatever. You know, we all got along, and when you all play football as well, you'll speak, you know, football, so it's kind of, that was the main language rather than English.
When it came to playing football or just hanging out, where was it at the time when you were in younger days?
There was a couple of places, like, it was quite a big estate. There was my block, another block, and behind this block here, there was like a park, 2 walls. There was like, one was here, one net was here, one net was here, so he was playing on a diagonal. One was higher, one was smaller. So we started playing on there for a little bit, and then the older people started getting a bit frustrated that some windows were getting broken and stuff like that. So I think
was that you?
Nah.
Is that why you're so good at free kicks now? From the windows?
Yeah, so they got a little bit annoyed and they banged the climbing frame right in the middle of it. Okay. But it didn't stop us playing football. We used to play around the climbing frame and everything like that. 1-2s off of the climbing frame, which was, it learnt you how to play, which it was good. And then on a Saturday, my mum used to drop me off at Highfield Adventure Playground. Yeah. I used to go there from, you know, say 9 in the morning till 6 at night, and that was me for the day. Got me out my mum's hair.
She said, like, when you were younger, you were so hyperactive that up until the age of 3, you never slept for the full night. You were literally up all the time, and she didn't have a sleepless night. She didn't have a full night's sleep, until you were 3-year-old.
She does tell me that. She said that she used to put me in the pram and walk me around the estate.
That's what she said.
Says, flipping hell, Mum, you was brave around there to walk me around. But I think, you know, listen, no disrespect to the estate, it was great. You know, it's taught me a lot, I know, and I think once you got to know people who knew your face around there, they kind of knew that you was from there and kind of left you alone.
Well, she said that she always felt safe, because the reason why is because she knew the other parents and the other children, and they would always look out for you. So if you were on the other side of the estate, then they would be looking after you.
100%. Like, there was, you know, me on one block. I don't think actually no one was on the same block. Yeah. So you always used to see the parents poking their head out the window, coming off onto the balcony, and, you know, shouting you if the ice cream man was here, or you know, or it was tea time.
How did it come about in the first place then? So you're playing obviously at the back, you're doing all that. How did it come about that you actually become a footballer? Where did it start? What was the beginning?
Yeah, I mean, I've told this story before. I was staying at my friend's house, Akeem and Ismail, and they had a cousin that was taking them to Abbeydale Grange for a football session. They said there was no space in the car. I went up to Abbeydale Grange, and just playing in the park there, and on Football United's race divides, and that was it. Paul Archer came up to me, said, you know, can I have your mum's number? I was thinking, you know, who's this guy?
Steady.
Who's this guy? You know, I'm 7 years old, thinking, but I think in that day and age, you didn't really think about it as much. You know, I was only 7, so I gave him my mum's telephone number, and he called my mum and said, you know, he would like to invite me to come to Sheffield United and have a trial, and I've never really looked back since.
He came to our first session and he decided to come along with his cousin, basically. And he was a young lad, age 7, loved playing football. You could tell he had that enthusiasm about it. He really liked what he did. And we'd do a few skills with him, a bit of coaching with him. The following week he'd come back and he'd mastered it. He says, oh, look, just show me what he was doing. Look, this is what I can do, this is what I can do. And I've done this as well. And he was so enthusiastic and he really wanted to get on and do well.
What was it about him, though, that was so special?
Well, I mean, he had a few tricks up his sleeve. He enjoyed playing, he was quite quick, he had a bit of pace about him, and he was always willing to give things a go.
Right.
You know, he was always willing to try something and give it a go.
Yeah.
Which is part of what you want to do. And you could see a few things that I thought, yeah, he's got something about him that I think he can do well.
What stood out though from all the rest? There must have been something, that spark, because it's very difficult to spot at that age.
It is difficult to spot at that age, and you know, there's no guarantee that spotting someone at that age are going to actually develop and become a top professional international like he's become. But what you look for are little traits about, you know, his ability to use the ball, his skill on the ball, because at that age that's all you look for, in that he's got coordinated, he looks like he's good on the ball, and effectively that's what you do and that's what you look for initially.
I think football at them ages, it's easy. You know, you're a kid, you're enjoying, you're just playing football. I think when you get to like 15, 16, then you start thinking about things and doubting yourself, am I good enough?
Yeah.
You know, am I growing, am I developing as quick as the other players are? So I didn't really think much, but I just enjoyed playing football. Yeah. And whenever I could play football, I did play football.
Well, we used to always have run coaching sessions, right? And before we had a place like this, which was for most of our existence actually, we used to have to do it in various sort of parks, and Lowfield Park, Mount Pleasant Park, but also we did some up at Aberdale Grange school. And this particular day, it was a Saturday morning, Kyle was only 7 at the time, and really it was his older mates that were going to the coaching, so he wasn't included, right? One of them had a car, somebody dropped out on the day, so they said to him, come on Kyle, you can come with us. So he went up there, I was there actually, and everyone was bigger than him, so he was like really tiny. You've seen the pictures of Kyle, right, when he was like 7, 8, 9, he's like, you can't believe what he's grown up into. He was like Maradona size, do you know what I mean? And but what he did was, he ran around everywhere, he was all over the place, right, just running and running and running.
Back to, I just want to rewind it back just a little bit, just to your organisation itself, Football Unites Racism Divide. Now, what was it originally set up for? Was it what kind of culture of person was it set up for?
Well, it's meant to be an inclusive project, something that a project that treated and gave opportunities to any football fan or player or referee or someone who just wanted to get involved and go to a match. Right, and in those days, I'm talking about 1995, it was quite a different sort of setup.
You mentioned earlier on something about racism.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on in the area. You know, there was racist graffiti on boards. There was the local population, which was sort of 50% from an ethnic minority background, was experiencing a lot of match day harassment. There was stuff around on London Road. A lot of people stood outside pubs. A lot more common than it is nowadays, although it started again actually whilst this season, but that led to people of Somali and Asian origin getting abused and attacked. In some cases, one Somali lad ended up in hospital in one of the chicken sort of takeaways on a life support machine and so on. So it was serious stuff, you know, going on.
Looking back at it now, I probably didn't realise what I've got myself into. Yeah. I never played Sunday League football, so that was my first club football that I played. Sheffield United back then was actually a school of excellence, so it wasn't an academy. So we used to play, you know, teams like Tranmere, Borough, Bradford, rather than what they're playing now at this day and age. You know, your Liverpools, Manchester United, Man Cities, and stuff like that. Yeah. So it was literally just a kickabout for me. You know, where my dad used to take me, I used to have the kit on, it said Sheffield United School of Excellence, and we used to just go and play football.
They couldn't sign you, could they, for the first year? Is that right?
No, they couldn't because I was too young.
What did you used to keep you there by giving you tracksuits and kits and stuff like that then? And
Not even. Football's changed now. Yeah. You know, back then it wasn't about that. You know, you weren't bothered about the free boots that you get. What kids are so bothered about now, the free clothes or anything like that. It was literally going, and it was probably playing football with people my age that was at the same standard as me. So it was just good. It was. Did
you notice much difference from the standard from Football Unites Racism Divide where you went and Sheffield United? Was there much difference between the two? Like you say, you were a young boy.
No.
And at that age, you know, everyone just loves it and it's fun.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, I believe 100% some of the kids that was on the flats when I was growing up could have definitely made it if they was given the opportunity. Yeah. But you know, you need to have a little bit of luck in this game as well. Yeah. And I believe I just got the luck.
Do you think it is the right place at the right time?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And I think sometimes your face has to fit as well.
Yeah.
You know, it might sound bad, but you sometimes your face does have to fit to, you know, progress through the age groups.
Yeah, one of the things that your mum said was a touching thing. She said that you didn't have much, but then every month when she got paid, she used to take you to either Leeds or somewhere, and you'd either go and buy some trainers, and she'd take you out for something to eat, like a restaurant or something to eat, and that was a like way of giving, showing you something back.
Every payday.
Yeah, every payday. She used to do it every single payday, and that was a special time because throughout the month you couldn't have much because she didn't have much, like she said. But that was a special time to give you something back and just show you that she loved you.
Did you look forward to that day?
Yeah, it was good because I've got a trainer obsession. So whenever payday was coming, I knew I'd get a pair of trainers or, you know, go out to the cinema and have a bit of food. We used to go to Leeds sometimes.
She said you were a nightmare with your trainers. She's over there. That's why I'm looking in that. She said you got OCD with your trainers.
Yeah. So we used to go to Leeds and get some trainers. And then when it got older, it was a pair of boots. But I remember, I'll never forget, she bought me some Nike boots and they were too big. You know, because Mum's saying, "Oh, you'll grow into them." But I'm a size 5 in some trainers and I'm a 7 in boots. So I've got small feet. She must have bought me a 7 when I was about 14. And it's like, "No, you'll grow into them. You'll grow into." And I didn't wear them. I couldn't wear them because they was too big for me. But I really liked the boots. So she was like, "Put 2 pairs of socks on." You know. But it's things in life like that you appreciate now. You know, when I've got a night deal, I'm very fortunate, and I get boots given to me left, right, and centre. So it makes you, but it makes you appreciate it. You know.
Do you still have those old trainers of yours? Do you still keep them, or have they gone?
I've got one pair that I keep. I think my mum's got a few at home, but I still keep every pair of boots that I've ever wore. Yeah. In a game, I have keep one pair. Every single pair they give me, I keep one pair. Yeah.
What about those size 7s?
Them 7s are gone. God knows where they are. I was a centre forward, but I was pretty decent at that age, so it was like give.
Did you already know you were good anyway?
No, because at the age of 13, 14, I stopped, you know, developing a little bit. No, actually, probably been older. I've probably been about 15, 16. I stopped and everyone just carried on growing.
Yeah, we heard that at one point they said to you that you weren't going to make it as a professional footballer.
No, they wasn't going to give me a
scholarship. And one of the academy directors down there, well, not academy, development at the time said to you that, you know, you're too small.
Yeah, too small. And my dad, I can remember having a conversation with my dad and he's saying to me, you know, we might have to take you to Chesterfield or Scunthorpe or something like this because I don't feel that you're going to get in. And that's the time where I had to sit back and kind of think, I need to make sacrifices in my lifestyle and what I'm doing now to get to where I want to be.
And what did you do? What sacrifices did you make?
Not so much stop hanging around with my friends, but stop doing what my friends were doing. Right. You know, if they're running around the streets at 10, 11 o'clock and I've got a game the next day, I can't be doing that. Yeah. And, you know, my big thing was, you know, God bless them, you know, me and my mum didn't have much. Yeah. And my main objective was to get me and my mum off them flats.
Brilliant.
How did they take that though, your friends? Did they understand when you told them, look, I can't do this anymore? It's got to change.
It's got to be a fine balance because you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket kind of thing. I didn't want to just say, okay, football's, that's it. And I'm just going to forget about my friends because your friends are always there to pick you up when you're having down moments. Yeah. So it was kind of a fine balance, but it was just sacrificing. Just certain things. It wasn't loads of things, it was just certain things that I had to do that makes me want to improve more in the game. I lived so close to the ground, so I could never see it. And I supported them as a kid, and I could never see me.
Your granddad bought you a season
ticket at 5. I can remember we played. I think they played Birmingham City, and we got chased down a Genoa. So all the fans were fighting, and police officers running everywhere. And me and my granddad are just hugging in this Genoa, trying to get away from everyone.
Did that not make you think I don't want to come back to football again?
No, because I felt safe with him. Yeah. You know, he was the one who got me into football. You know, mainly him. So. I take my hat off to him. You know, I still think about him every day. But the thing is that when you're growing up, you don't think about all that, do you? No. you kind of just football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then the progression was good from there. You obviously started doing really well at Sheffield United, and then you played in the playoffs. That was and that was like your first starts, really, wasn't it, for Sheffield United?
Well, my first start was, my mum will probably know, Leighton Orient, down at Orient.
Yeah.
And the game actually got called off on the first day, so we had to stay down in London and play it the next day. And luckily enough, my mum and dad was on the way down to Leighton Orient, and I think my dad had a blowout. Yeah, he had a blowout in the car on his tyre burst. So there was no way he was getting down to that game if it was meant to be played on the actual day it was.
Yeah.
But I think it was just fate that it got cancelled, and my mum and dad, kind of saying, I think we won there as well. Yeah, so played well. Yeah.
All through that period, you had some amazing performances, and then you played Burnley. You got to the playoff final, and then there was Burnley at Wembley. How was that, as not just a Sheffield United fan, a Sheffield United player? That must have been unbelievable.
Yeah, it was very good. It was very intimidating. Obviously, playing, I think, 5 games.
You're still, even now, the youngest player to ever play in the playoff final at Wembley.
Yeah.
So you know, it's a record which still stands, which is amazing. So you must have been frightened, like you.
Yeah, well, what would we play? We played Swansea at home, Crystal Palace, Preston, and then Burnley. That was my 5th game, and I was saying to Kyle Norton, because he was, doing really well that season. Saying to him, I'm so nervous, and he was saying, Kyle, stop it, because you're making me nervous now. So I remember going out, and it's a hot day. Obviously, the playoff finals are always, sunny, and they've got the lights going up and the fire and everything, and my legs went to jelly, and it took me about 5-10 minutes to kind of get into the game and get it going, but it wasn't meant to be. And if probably Sheffield United got promoted, would I be sat here now with you playing for Man City? I don't know, because they didn't get promoted. I went on to Tottenham, then came back on loan, but I feel like just as that blowout when my dad had the tyre, I think everything's done for a reason. Yeah.
Then you had the amazing situation where you get a phone call from Tottenham. How did that come about?
Well, your agent would have contacted you, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, my agent.
Were they in
spoke
touch
to me.
in advance? Did you know that they were in for you though?
Yeah, I mean, it was Everton and Tottenham, but I was kind of the little, side dish, spicy rice, with Kyle Norton, because
Did you always see Kyle Norton as the one that
go on? Yeah, well, he's a top player, isn't he? And he proved it game in, game out in the Championship, and I just tried to mould my game on him, developing and watching him, knowing that he's come through what I've come through. So I want to just copy you, really. So they want. I know deep down, my agent tells me, no, it was both of you they wanted, and I know deep down that Norts was the one that they wanted. Yeah. And they got me on the little side one.
Was it right in the fact that you were both on the bus and you were going to Leeds? Is that right, to play Leeds, and then you were told that you weren't allowed to play in the game? Is that right, because you were going to Tottenham?
No. So I was going down to Watford.
Right.
Watford. We were playing Watford, and then they said to me, I was about to play, and I think they called me and said, no, that's it.
Right.
I can't play, because Tottenham called me back. So obviously I signed for Tottenham, went down to Devon, seen them in the pre-season training camp and everything, and Harry Redknapp was very welcoming, and he showed me the affection that I wanted, and I thought, well, okay, I want to play for you. So that was it. Went back up, and I said to Norts, I think I'm going to go there. He says, yeah, I'm coming as well. So that was the end of it.
That must be reassurance, that because you have that little bit of fear, don't you, when you know your friends coming along as well.
Yeah.
It's tough, yeah. But I knew that I was going back on loan.
Yeah.
So I was kind of a win-win situation. I thought, I've just signed for a Premier League club, but I'm going back to, you know, my boyhood club that I want to play for, because I needed to learn. I only played 5 games, as I said before, and I needed to learn the game.
Yeah.
Playing for Tottenham, that must have been a real experience, right? What was the difference between playing at Sheffield United and then playing in Tottenham, in that stadium?
It's different emotions. Obviously playing for Sheffield United, I grew up supporting them. You know, I've always wanted to play for them, so that was really deep. Tottenham, it was deep because I thought, okay, I need to do well, I need to impress, because I want to, you know, I want to play for this club for a while now. But now, you know, I look at Tottenham and, you know, that was kind of like home, because I've been there for so long and I've got so many good memories there. It was tough to leave there, and I've said it before in interviews, it was tough, but I felt that it was the right step for me, myself, personally in my career to, you know, not take the next level step up, because I'm not disrespecting Tottenham, but to work with the manager that City have got, you know, it was only going to benefit my game.
When you went back to Sheffield United on loan, how did the rest of the players see you then at that point? Because they'll have known back in their mind.
Yeah, I think just the same.
Well, obviously, you've gone from a stage like financially, you know, you're on a certain amount of money at Sheffield United, then all of a sudden you get this contract at Tottenham. Now, I can't imagine what it must have been like, you in that board meeting, signing for Tottenham, getting your signing on fee, going to the bank, putting your credit card details in.
And it's saying card declined.
And then all of a sudden you're seeing a number there that looks like a calculator. You must have been like at first, wow. But obviously some players will be like, right, that's it, I'm spending it, I'm buying this, I'm buying that, I'm going on. Because you're going from nothing to all of a sudden having something which you've never even dreamed of having, like financially. It must have been so different for you.
How did you deal with that situation?
Just stayed the same. You know, ask my mates now. I'm still the same. Listen, if I need something, then I'll get it. If I don't need it, I don't.
So you're careful with your money?
Yeah. I think you just need to. I've got kids now, so I'm playing football for myself mainly, and you know, 'cause I love the game. But I'm also doing it for their future. You know, and for my mum and dad, and just to help everyone out really, as much as I can do, without people taking the Michael, which is it's a fine line.
He's still the same guy, he's still childish, he still has a laugh, he's still brilliant with all his mates and his family and everyone. He's had to change in ways with obviously his career, how it's taken him, and the media surrounding him. Unfortunately, like, we have to be childish indoors now, we can't really be childish outside because you never know who's taking
Do you see a big difference with regards to people coming up to him and mobbing him and actually wanting a picture and autographs with him from years ago?
Yeah, definitely. To be fair, before the Euros, I always say we went on holiday and we went to a water park and we had 2 or 3 photos with people. It was fine, do you know what I mean? We got around the water park fine, and then after the Euros, we were in Barcelona and went to the water park, and literally we had probably a crowd of about 100 kids following him, and we actually had to leave the water park because we couldn't even go on any rides because he was just getting mobbed by all the kids in Spain telling him to sign for Real Madrid and Barcelona.
The ones that you think that need some praise, because this is all about Kyle and you as a family.
To be honest, his dad is one of a kind, isn't he, your dad?
Special.
And especially when they were younger, the arguments they had after football, you should have done this, you shouldn't have done
Was
that.
it?
And his dad still now has to have a little dig done to him.
Does it? Does he still go into one?
But him and his dad speak after every game, and they put will to rights then, don't you?
Yeah.
But yeah, his dad, his nan and granddad, everybody, his great granddad, everyone, even friends.
Yeah.
They're all really supportive of him. Everybody, in fact, I ever meet in Sheffield, it's always a good word for him.
Well, we want to thank you from
you're
Sheffield,
welcome.
from everybody who's watching this documentary, from everybody from Sheffield, because without you, your family, your unit, his friends, he wouldn't be where he is today. So thank you very much.
It's a
So
pleasure.
we want to thank you.
And he's doing it for England as well, which is...
He's doing it for the country.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Brilliant.
Thank you.